Hi, for this video I'm going to go through what I believe are the best choices for where Merlock's going to appear in the final boss of Donald Duck Quack Attack or Going Quackers for the PlayStation 2. I'm playing on the PSN and it's also the same version as the Game Boy. So first I'm going to explain how this fight works. Right at the beginning you just dodging fire, dodging arrows, and you're avoiding these platforms that fall. After you spend a bit of time dodging them, a tornado's going to come and you're just going to stay away from it. And then at this point Merlock's going to appear in one of the corners, and you can tell it's him because he's a larger Merlock and his amulet's flashing. And then the same thing basically repeats, only the sequence is longer, so there's more. You've got to wait for more blocks to fall. I don't think the fire or arrows get more aggressive, but I could be wrong. And just the same thing, see the tornado follows you. But if you noticed in that first round, Merlock, well, I suppose you won't have noticed, but Merlock only appears in these top two corners, whereas in rounds 2 and 3 he can appear in all four corners. So that's round 2. After every round you get a purple box. And it's the same thing as you would expect. You're just dodging the arrows, dodging the fire, making sure not to fall in. More and more blocks start crumbling as the rounds go on. I'm not sure if it's a precise number, but it definitely gets harder to see where to land. And it can get quite tricky to see, which is the right Merlock to attack. But that's the gist. So let me get back to it. So from what I just showed you, you can see that there is a way we can, work on it to be faster, right? From a speedrunning perspective, we want to be hitting Merlock as soon as he appears. But we have no real way of telling which corner Merlock's going to appear in, and that's going to slow things down. If I was just to play it through now, so I'll just dodge this tornado. So after we dodge the tornado, it goes to the centre, Merlock appears, and he goes to one of the four corners. Now, as I'm saying, in this first round, it's going to be one of the Merlocks towards the back. And ideally, I'd already be in this corner, or whatever corner he's in, I'd already be there waiting, so that as soon as the Merlock appears, I can just punch and be on with the next round. It would take longer to stay in the middle like I just did and analyse which Merlock is which, so you've kind of got to guess. Okay, and as far as I'm aware, there's not actually any way to manipulate where Merlock's appearing. So if we're gonna go for a really good speed run, we want to be guessing correctly where Merlock's going to appear. The problem is there's no real way to manipulate it. So I think what's best is if I label the points on this platform, and I'll just label them simply. This will be top left, over here is top right, over here is bottom right, and over here is bottom left, and those are the four corners Merlock can appear in. So what I've done is I've played through 100 rounds of the game, of this level, which isn't a huge number, but I've recorded where Merlock has appeared for each of those 100 rounds, so that's 300 appearances. And hopefully that will give some indication towards the overall odds. It's not going to be perfect, it may be skewed in some ways, but it should give some indication towards the overall odds. So I think it's best if we die and start again, and we'll just go through it. So I'm going to be spitting out a load of facts. You don't have to follow along. It is just going to be a load of gibberish, to be honest. Right, so first round. As I say, Merlock will only appear in the top left or the top right of the platforms. So he's only going to be here, and he's only going to be here. That is 100% of the time. He will never, in the first round, appear bottom right, and he'll never appear bottom left. So we basically, even without looking at anything, we've got a 50-50 chance of getting it right first time, which is pretty good. But based on my count, I found that 59 out of 100 of the round 1 Murlocs appeared in the top right. Now, yeah, 100, doing 100 rounds, it's not a lot. 9 extra ones being on one side than the other, it might not be. It might just be, an anomaly. It would probably even out, or it could even out if I did 1,000 or 10,000. But we're just got to go with it because I'm not going to do 1,000 rounds or 10,000 rounds of Merlock. 100 took long enough. So based on my count, 59 out of 100 of the round 1 Murlocs are in the top right, so I'd advise choosing top right for the first round, and this should be correct 59% of the time. So yeah, we'll give that a try, see if we're one of the lucky 59%. So we want to already be waiting there. We got it wrong. Well, that's what happens when your odds are basically 50-50. So, let's assume we got it right. Let's assume we went top right and we were correct. That was where Merlock is. Now, during the second round, Merlock is now able to appear in all 4 corners, so he can be top right, top left, bottom right, bottom left. And what I found in this situation was that picking the top right again would be the correct choice, and it would be the correct choice 32.2% of the time. Which is pretty close to guessing at random, but is perhaps slightly better. Well, it is better. Guessing at random would be 25%. I've got 32%. Would this disappear if I did more rounds? Maybe, but as I say, I can only go off what I've done. So yes, so for round 1 we want to be picking top right. For round 2 we want to be picking top right again. So, yep, didn't get that right again. But let's pretend we did. So, let's assume we got both of these right. We picked top right first round. He was there. We picked top right second round. That's where he was. In cases like this, I found that the bottom left and bottom right, they gave the exact same odds of 31.6%. However, when I looked at just the frequency of round 3 and not taking into consideration any of the previous choices, connected to them, I do see a slight favour for bottom left. It appeared slightly more than bottom right. Not a great deal, but if you're going to pick between them, I'd say, go bottom left. So from what I can see, the most likely order for Merlock to appear in is top right, and then bottom left. So we'll give it a try, see if we get one of them right. One thing I will mention is that the block you're standing on always seems to be the one that falls. I think it's programmed that way. So I think you want to avoid being actually on the block where Merlock's going to appear until the last second. And we didn't get any right. Yes, so top right, bottom left. Let's just go back a bit though and actually explain what happened and say that, let's say that our first pick is wrong, right? So we go for the top right and he's just not there, he's in the top left like he was for us. So we might want to try and cut our losses and get the next 2 picks right. That could clinch the speed run. So what I found was that when Merlock appears in the top left for the first round, he has a 29.3% chance of appearing either top right or bottom left in round 2. Again though, if we looked at the absolute frequency of his appearances, we can see a slight favour for picking top right. So just make sure we're on track with this line of thought. Let's say we pick top right in round 1 and we get it wrong, so we pick top right again in round 2. Now if we get this right, we should pick bottom left for round 3, but if we got round 2 wrong, then we'd have a split choice of bottom left or bottom right for equal odds. When all is said and done, it doesn't matter if we're getting the first Merlock and or the second Merlock wrong or right. At the end of the day, we're going to be having the best. We'll have the best odds by playing the same order. We should always play top right, top right, bottom left every time. And this gives you about a 6% chance of being right all 3 times, compared to about a 3% chance of being right just by guessing. So you're gonna have it all flow together, and you're just gonna get every Merlock correct about every 16 to 17 times that you're going to be playing through, which sounds like a lot, but it's a lot more preferable to the 32 to 34 times that you would get just by guessing. So that's the Merlock odds for a game that no one speedruns except me, I guess. So enjoy.